Hello ladies, and welcome back to Still Looking Good 58. I am Faith, and welcome to another edition of Wigs and Wisdom Wednesday. As you probably saw from the thumbnail, we are going to be talking about a very serious subject, and that is ovarian cancer and my brush with ovarian cancer. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is because I think it is very important for women to be as informed as possible. And sometimes when we think we know something, we really don't. And that can be a problem. So that's why I wanted to share this with you today. And I'm also going to tell you about this RPGShow wig that I'm wearing. It's basically going to be an update. So here we go. The first thing that I wanted to discuss, again, you guys know I'm a former television reporter and I do my research, and so I went to cancer.org to get the information I'm about to share with you now. And I wish I had done something like this earlier, in my earlier years, before my situation turned out the way it did. So anyway, what I'm going to do first is talk about the symptoms of ovarian cancer and what the organization says that should be in place before you consider that you might have it, okay? It says that the symptoms that I'm about to mention must be persistent and change from normal in order for you to be concerned, because some of these symptoms are things that could be a sign of other things. So let me just mention what they are. And when we say, or when they say persistent and change from normal, that means they would occur more than 12 times a month and more often and more severe, okay? All right, so here we go. The first symptom they mention of ovarian cancer is bloating. The second one is pelvic or abdominal pain, which is belly pain. Third is trouble eating or feeling full quickly. Fourth is urinary symptoms such as urgency, meaning you feel like you have to go a lot or you feel like you have to go often. So those are the symptoms that they're saying that you could be experiencing if you have ovarian cancer. But again, these symptoms have to be persistent and change from normal, meaning they have to occur more often, be more severe, and more than 12 times a month. Okay, so there are other symptoms as well that aren't as prevalent, but they are still considered factors that you should look into. Fatigue, meaning extreme tiredness, upset stomach, back pain, pain during sex, constipation, changes in your period, meaning heavier bleeding or irregular bleeding, and again, abdominal swelling with weight loss. So those are the less likely symptoms, but they are other symptoms that could be included in this. And again, persistence and changing from normal is when you really should be concerned about it. Now, there are risk factors for women who are more susceptible to getting ovarian cancer, and I'm going to mention those. Of course, the first one is getting older. It says half of all ovarian cancers are found in women 63 years of age or older. But let me just preface that by saying that that does not mean that you cannot get it if you're under 63. And I'll talk a little bit about that later. Being overweight or obese. Now that can cause a lot of other symptoms. So they're saying that obesity may have a negative effect on the survival of a woman who has ovarian cancer. But there is no conclusive study that says that it is directly linked to ovarian cancer. But with obesity, there are other factors that can come into play. Having children later or never having a full-term pregnancy can put you at higher risk. So it says women who have their first full-term pregnancy after age 35, who have never carried a pregnancy to term, have a higher risk of ovarian cancer. Okay? The third one is taking hormone therapy after menopause, and we talked about this in the menopause segment that I did. Taking hormone therapy can also increase the risk of breast cancer, but it says here that it also can increase the risk of ovarian cancer. Okay, having a family history, now this is important, having a family history of not just ovarian cancer, but breast cancer or colorectal cancer. They're saying that there's a connection. They said that the risk gets higher when you have more relatives that have ovarian cancer. Like for instance, if you have your mother, your sister, your daughter have had it. And it goes on to talk about the family history. It says a family history of some other types of cancer, again, colorectal or breast cancer, are linked to an increased risk of ovarian cancer. And it explains that it's because the cancers can be caused by an inherited mutation. And that means there's something abnormal about the genes that were passed along to you. Fertility treatments, they say, can increase the risk. Now, again, this is not totally conclusive, but if you are considering in vitro fertilization or something similar to that, you should have a conversation with your doctor about the risk of ovarian cancer. Having had breast cancer before can put you at higher risk, and I'm sure those of you who have are familiar with that. So yeah, and it also mentions that the BRCA1 and BRCA2 inherited mutation can put you at higher risk, and you can actually get tested for that. Okay, here are some factors that will lower the risk of ovarian cancer. Pregnancy and breastfeeding. So it says that if you have been pregnant and carried that pregnancy to term before age 26, then you have a lower risk of ovarian cancer than women who do not carry the child to term. It says also the breastfeeding can lower the risk. Birth control. I thought this was interesting. Women who have used oral contraceptives as birth control have a lower risk of ovarian cancer. I'm not real sure I agree with that, but that's what they're saying. And I'll tell you why later. But the risk is lower the longer the pill is used, they say. Okay, and then they say a hysterectomy, meaning removing the uterus without removing the ovaries, seems to reduce the risk, it says, but they can't guarantee that. Okay, question. Can ovarian cancer be found early? Now this is real important, this next section. So if you didn't listen to anything else before this, listen to this. Only about 20% of ovarian cancers are found in early stage. Only 20%. It says when it is found early, 94% of the patients live longer than 5 years after diagnosis. That's not real encouraging, but yeah, so finding it early, it's not easy. And we're going to talk about that now, because now is when I'm going to explain to you what I had to go through. So according to cancer.org, it says ways to find ovarian cancer early include regular women's health exams. So I want you to listen to this very carefully. They're telling you that a pelvic exam can be useful because it can find some female cancers at an early stage. Some. But most early ovarian tumors are difficult or impossible to feel. That I didn't know. I wish I had, but that I didn't know. Let me say it again. Most early ovarian tumors are difficult or impossible to feel. So that pelvic exam, that pap smear that you thought was covering everything, it's not. And I'm going to tell you why, and I'm going to tell, well, I already told you why, but I'm going to tell you what to do about it. They're actually saying that the pap test, and I'm going to read this, it says the pap test is not effective for ovarian cancer. Has anybody ever told you that? Did you ever hear that before? I had never heard that before. I'd never heard that before until I was in my 40s, and I'm going to tell you what happened. It says rarely ovarian cancers are found through the pap test. And if they are, they're in an advanced stage. Okay? This is real important, ladies. Let me tell you my personal experience. When I was in my 40s, my sister, one of my older sisters, was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. When I found out, I was surprised because, again, I knew she was getting regular pap smears just like my other sister and myself. So when I heard that she had it, I was like, how did they not find it? Because it was in the advanced stage. So I went to my doctor because my sister was doing very badly. And we also have a condition in our family called porphyria. It's a blood condition. And not everyone in the family gets it. It kind of jumps generations, but my sister, that particular sister, had it as well. And she faced some complications, and that's when they found out that she had the ovarian cancer too, because she was in the hospital. So my sister died. She died of ovarian cancer in 2009. So I went to my doctor and I said to him, okay, I've been with you for a long time. I've been getting this pap smear, blah, blah, blah. I've been getting, the pelvic exam and all that kind of thing. Was there something else I was supposed to be doing? You know what he said? He said, well, for that particular condition, you have to get a different test. You have to get what they call a transvaginal ultrasound, TVUS, or something called a CA-125 blood test. Those are the only two things that are going to detect early ovarian cancer. I'd never had either one of those, ever, when I went to my doctor for my regular exam. Never was told I needed to, never was told why. I was so angry because after I found out that my sister had it and then she passed away, I was like, what? So he did the transvaginal ultrasound. He sent me to get the test done. And when I came back to his office, he said, we have to operate in 30 days. Yeah, yeah, that was my reaction. So what he did was he did a super cervical hysterectomy on me because I had already lost one of my ovaries when I was in high school. So I only had one ovary anyway. So he just went in and took everything out. He went in and took everything out. He told me that he had found some fibroids and I had another large cyst on my last ovary, my remaining ovary. But ladies, what I'm saying to you is you got to ask more questions. You can't just go in there and assume he's doing everything he's supposed to be doing. You have to ask more questions. I could have died. Because my sister died, I got to save my own life. This is serious stuff, ladies, and that's why I'm sharing this with you. You need to go into your doctor and you need to tell him, I need to have this test, either this TVUS test or this CA-125 blood test, so that I know that I'm not going to have ovarian cancer or susceptible to it, especially if you have any of these symptoms that I mentioned, and especially if anyone else in your family has had it. And if someone in your family has had it, you may very well be familiar with this, and if that's the case, then that's great. But if you don't know, then you need to ask. You need to find out, because this is very, very important stuff. Okay, so that's why I wanted to share this with you, because it's very important. It's very important that we are knowledgeable. It's very important that we share what we do know so that we can survive. So I wanted to bring that to you guys, and I hope I wasn't a downer, but I wanted to let you guys know how important this is, and that if you have not asked those questions, you need to go right into your doctor and ask. Especially, again, if you're having any of those symptoms, or if you have any relatives who have had the condition, or either colorectal cancer or breast cancer, you need to ask the right questions. And I'm just telling you this, again, from personal experience, and because I love y'all and I want you guys to survive. So that's why I'm telling you these things. So yeah. So okay, so that's that. And again, I got it out. I want to let you guys know, and so I appreciate you sticking around and hearing the rest of this. Now, as far as this wig goes, this is an RPGShow wig. It's 16 inches. So, and let me show you what it looks like all in the back. This is it all in the back. And trust me, it took me all day to get these curls in. It took me all day to get all these curls in. And you can either do it with the curling wand, or you can do it with, like, just wash the hair and curl it with, those flexi rods or whatever. You don't have to necessarily stand over the wig all day long like I did and use the curling wand. But let me tell you one thing about that curling wand. That curling wand, I notice that sometimes when people are doing it like this on camera, the hair can get like twisted around, and when you're putting it on there and it doesn't lay flat, it's not going to give you a good curl. So if you can kind of take your time when you do it and make sure that that hair is flat as you're rolling it around there, you're going to get a much better curl than if you just do like this and it twists, the hair starts to twist around, and then it's twisted besides the fact that you're twisting it around that wand. So that's just a tip that I'm giving you, because that's what I found when I was actually doing this myself. But I really like this wig. I've had this wig for a while. I've only worn it a couple of times, but it's still in great shape. And RPGShow, they're just, I mean, they're just really great when it comes to human hair. And you know, and I don't have too many human hair wigs, but when I have one, I want a good one, and RPGShow has great human hair wigs. There are other companies that I have gotten human hair wigs from that were pretty good. It was Wow Ebony was a place that I went and got a nice bob. Also Best Lace Wigs, I actually got a really nice bob from them. But I haven't really tried too many others. And then of course I got this one from RPGShow that I really completely love. And I've had this one for a while, and I just, you know, I wanted to put it back on because when I wore it the first time, I had it on as a side part. But now that I have it as a middle part, it's just the quality of the hair is just, it's phenomenal. And I remember when I first got it out of the pack, I was like, wow, this is gorgeous. And it was already curled when I first got it. But of course, after you wash it and everything, you're gonna have to curl it yourself just like you would any other hair. But yeah, I really love this, and I wanted to make these kind of spiral curls this time because I think the first time I did it, and I'll put the video up so that you can see how it looked the first time. The first time I did it, I just kind of brushed them out and just let them be kind of large as opposed to the way I've got it now, but I really like it. I like this, and I like this middle part. You know, I'm not really a big middle part person, but I like this as a middle part, and especially with these curls like this. But when I had it curled the other way, I had it as a left side part because you know I'm a left side girl. So I liked it that way too, but yeah. And that's another thing about human hair, and I know a lot of you guys have your issues about human hair. I mean, some people like it and some people don't. But it's so much more versatile than synthetic hair because you can curl it, you can make it straight, and of course you've got your 13x4 or 13x6 or whatever you get. This one is 200% density, and so I really like that. I like a nice good density on a human hair wig. Usually about, I'll take 150 if it's a good wig, but I usually have to get at least 180, but I like 200. 250 is a little bit much for me sometimes, but this is kind of in the kind of good space for me in terms of the density of the wig, meaning the thickness of the hair. So yeah, so I like that. And I also like this company because, I mean, everything that I've seen that other people have done has been really good quality. And since I purchased it from them and saw for myself that the quality is really, really good, yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of RPGShow. So anyway, ladies, I'll put the information down in the description section because you can still get a wig like this from them. It may not be the exact same one, but you can get one in this color because they're pretty good on the colors. And this one again is 16 inches, 200% density. And I got this one in the clearance section. So if you don't want to spend a ton of money, but you want a really nice wig, I'd go there first. So I'm just saying. Since this isn't a sponsored video, I can say what I want. So yeah, go to the clearance section and get it. Don't get the really expensive one. But you can still get a good wig from RPGShow in clearance because hey, it used to be more expensive, right? Yeah. Anyway, ladies, thank you so much for watching this. And if you are coming in late and you missed the information about ovarian cancer, please rewind because it is so, so very important for you to have that information. If you have not already had it, share it with someone that you know, a friend, a relative. Do some investigating, and by all means, ask your doctor questions, okay? Ask questions. Don't just go in there and assume he's giving you all of the treatment that he should be giving you. Ask questions, okay? All right. So anyway, ladies, thank you so much for watching. If you have not subscribed, please hit that subscription button and the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my uploads. Not this Friday, but next Friday, I will have another wig review for you. It's my part 2 of my going back to work. You guys know I ain't trying to go back to work. I'm not trying to go back to work. But it's part 2 of my going back to work series. And I'll have a couple of other wigs to show you that are going to be good for wearing to work. So yeah. So anyway, thank you so much. Love you guys. And as I always say, if you're going to show love to anyone today, please show it to the Creator. I'm still looking good, and of course, so are you. See you next time.